Is this really a miniature OJ chase? This is a miniature OJ Simpson chase scene. The white Bronco. I want to start this episode by talking about a recent change that Niantic made to Pokémon GO without telling anyone. Sometime last night, there was a server-side change that prevents Pokémon from appearing on your sightings list when you're traveling above 30 miles per hour. It seems pretty clear here that their goal is to prevent people from playing the game while driving. And that's understandable, that's something I completely agree with, but it seems like they've failed to consider the other implications of this change. First of all, we already have a pop-up that requires you to confirm that you're a passenger when you're traveling at these speeds. So they were okay with you playing as a passenger up until last night. Why has that changed? Now, if you're sitting in the car with someone who's driving, you can't play Pokémon GO at all. This change also affects people who use public transportation like trains or buses. A lot of people play the game on their way to school or work. On the bus, they'll just sit there and catch Pokémon on their commute. Well, that's no longer possible, which prevents a lot of people who work or go to school full-time from ever having a chance to catch Pokémon. On top of that, there are also players who essentially had to drive to play the game because they live in such rural areas where Pokémon don't spawn anywhere near them, where their nearest Pokéstops are miles away. So this change definitely accomplishes Niantic's, what I assume was Niantic's goal of preventing people from playing while driving, but it also affects a lot of legitimate players as well. There's also the argument that this change prevents scanning apps from working efficiently because it prevents their bots from seeing Pokémon when they're traveling too fast. Now, if that's the reason for the change, again, it affects a lot more than just these bot accounts for scanning apps. Whatever the reason was, it's a pretty big change, and it has a lot of people very upset. Once again, let me try to explain things from what I assume is Niantic's perspective, because we all know they're not going to explain it. It seems to me that Niantic has a very specific idea of how they want their game to be played. Their goal with the game is to get people out and exploring and seeing new things. That's the point of Pokéstops, located at public art installations, historical markers, interesting things in your city that you would want to go see that you probably wouldn't otherwise. That's the reasoning behind their new tracker that's in beta in San Francisco, which we just found out they're currently not planning on rolling out to the entire world anytime soon. I'll link to that article if you want to read about that. But that new tracking system, if you can even call it that, also points you towards Pokéstops, or places of interest that Niantic is encouraging you to go see. Niantic has expressed that they have very mixed feelings about people being glued to their phone screens when they're out playing the game. It's clear to me that really what they want is for people to get out and explore the world around them. And I'm all for that. Again, like I've said before, that's one of my favorite things about this game. Unfortunately, not everyone has the freedom to travel the way that I do when I'm playing the game. A lot of people have full-time jobs or other commitments. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that Niantic really wants this game to be played in a specific way. They want you to be out, on foot, walking around your city, and looking at new things. Unfortunately, not everyone's city is as interesting as a major metropolitan area like San Francisco, where Niantic's headquarters is, and where they all play the game. So they don't get the same experience that the rest of the world gets. This game is very different for every individual who plays it, and that's amazing to me. I think that's something that Niantic should really embrace, rather than trying to force everyone to play the game the way that they want it to be played. I'm going to borrow a couple ideas from one of my favorite game designers, Mark Rosewater, the head designer of Magic the Gathering, which also happens to be one of my favorite games, because I just love how well designed it is. I read a lot of his articles online, I listen to his podcasts, and he recently did a talk at GDC, Game Developers Conference, about 20 lessons that he's learned in 20 years of working on the same game. The first lesson is that fighting against human nature is a losing battle. Basically what it boils down to is you can have all the ideas you want for your game, you can try to make it a certain way, but if players don't want to play your game that way, then they're not going to play at all. So if Niantic is really trying to encourage playing this game on foot, walking around while playing, they really need to consider that in a lot of places in the world, winter is coming, and winter is actually really harsh in some parts of the world. Now, how are these people going to play the game when it's freezing cold outside and there's 3 feet of snow on the ground? Go Plus is one option, or was one option, but let me just say that most people in freezing temperatures would probably prefer to be in the comfort of a heated vehicle rather than walking around in the snow trying to find Pokemon. And now, with this speed ban also affecting Go Plus users, they're never going to see anything if they're traveling above 30 miles per hour. Now, in Niantic's defense, I will say that one aspect of real-world gaming that other games don't have to deal with is the real world. At times, the real world can be inhospitable and unpredictable, and maybe Niantic is just okay with some people not being able to play the game year-round. They really are the first company to do augmented reality or real-world gaming on this scale, but I don't think that the world is entirely ready to play the way that they want the game to be played. Plus, I just don't think it's a good business model to be okay with people not playing your game for 6 months out of the year. The second lesson from Mark Rosewater's talk that I want to reference is the idea of interesting versus fun. Pokemon Go is definitely interesting. It's the first game of its kind, there's never been anything like it, and it was obviously a huge social phenomenon when it launched. But I think Niantic has put a little bit too much emphasis on interesting and not enough on fun. Now, you can make your game as interesting as you want, but if it's not fun, people aren't going to play. And for a lot of people, the fun came from tracking down nearby Pokemon, or from finding and catching new Pokemon, which they can't do anymore because they filled up their Pokédex. Now, interesting and fun do overlap in the exploration and the social aspects of the game, which is, I think, something that Niantic is really happy about. It's cool to go out and see new things and to meet new people while playing the game, but when you've seen everything in your neighborhood and everyone around you is quitting, there's not really a lot of new people left to meet. So again, I think Niantic is a lot more focused on creating something interesting rather than something fun. I said from the very beginning that I don't think Niantic is very strong when it comes to game design, but the experience that they've created with Pokemon Go is incredible. It's unparalleled. It's very clear to me from Niantic's decisions that they want the game to be played a very specific way. They don't want you in the car playing, they don't want you staring at your phone while you're trying to track down a nearby Pokemon. And I get it, they're all about real-world gaming. You probably wouldn't be hanging out a bus window throwing Pokeballs at Pokemon as you pass by if you were living in the Pokemon world. So Niantic, I really do see what your vision is. I can see what you're trying to accomplish here, but I don't think that the majority of the world's population is ready to follow you on it. We're not ready for real-world gaming at the level that you're trying to accomplish it yet. It's a little too much real-world and not enough gaming. So again, I just want to reiterate, you can make the game that you want to make, or you can make the game that people want to play. But in the end, people are only going to play one of those. I think I went on a little longer than I intended to on that, but that's my take on the recent situation and on the situation as a whole when it comes to Pokemon Go. So the rest of the episode is going to be a vlog from the weekend. It'll be Saturday, where I'm still out in the desert, and then Sunday, here back at home. Enjoy. It's 11 o'clock. We're supposed to be out of the hotel right now. We're working on it. Saturday's episode just finished exporting, but the settings were wrong, so I need to go find a place to re-export and upload because we have to leave the hotel right now. I looked out the window this morning and I realized we're right in the middle of a golf course. So that park last night is actually a golf course. Check this out. Alright, that place was really loud, and the internet didn't actually work. So the video's exported, but now I need to go find a place to upload.
Oh my god.
Stole Frito-Lay.
Attempted to steal 2 living.
Stole the funeral money
Stole a
jar?
6-pack of beer. Guess he wanted to make cookies. Tried to steal a cart of groceries, but did not succeed.
We finally found some internet, and it turns out it's right here in my pocket. My cell service is way faster than any free public Wi-Fi in this entire city. It's faster than my internet at home right now, probably because there's cell towers right there. The library is a Pokéstop. That's cool, I've been spinning it this whole time. But more importantly, City Hall over here, or Civic Center, is a gym, and a totally beatable one at that. So here we go. You gonna help me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's level 2. There's 1 Vaporeon in it. Okay, it's windy. Someone just beat the gym. How long should we wait? Well, it sat here for a little while, and Cassie was a little less patient than I was. But this is an instinct gym now, and we're gonna make it an interesting instinct gym. There it is. I wonder how long that'll last. Upload's done. Let's get out of here. Alright, that's all taken care of. Someone added a Lapras to the top of our gym, but it looks like someone's battling it right now, and prestige is going down, so we're not going to be holding on to that one for very much longer. Somehow we ended up at a model train show, but I'm not even mad because there's a coughing here.
Yeah.
That is so...
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know.
They couldn't have chosen like a lighter guy
Why would they do
for that? Well, outside of the model train show is a Renaissance fair. So we're just gonna explore this a little bit, see what's going on.
That's a Roman dagger.
Really?
That's a nice throwing knife, double-edged.
I feel like if somebody tried to come into my house and if I just came out with one of these, like, this in itself would just deter the death.
It's a spooky mirror. Ammonite?
Yes, they are.
You know, there was actually an Ammonite on sightings when we got here. I didn't see it, but I think maybe these people got a hold of it. cold. Oh, it's Sunday now.
We're like,
It's Sunday afternoon now. We slept in a little late. Well, actually I got up early to shoot Q&A. I know I was supposed to do it ahead of time this week, but I just ended up not having time for it. So we got home really late last night. I woke up this morning, shot and edited Q&A. That's why it was uploaded late. And now we're here. Dang, both lures are on at Porto's.
yeah, we can go there after.
Yeah, we can get dessert there. We can wait in the long line for dessert. So, now we're eating. Very relaxing day. Oh my. I think we're having second thoughts about Porto's. That's the longest I've ever seen the line. I guess we're doing it. Wait, but the lures aren't even on anymore. Is it still worth it? Should I lure them? I guess I could lure them. Again, we catch the same almanite with good IVs, and mine has 200 CP. Can I have that?
Pineapple cheese Danish.
You know, I see a bunch of people coming out of there with like huge boxes, and I think because you wait in line so long, once you get in there, you think, oh god, I should just buy a bunch of stuff because I waited so long. And then I totally did also. We really only needed like one thing each, and we came out with a box. Give it to my sister or something. It's tricky. Don't fall for it. Chance?
Oh. Chance, come back.
The Raichu? There was a Raichu at Foreman Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now.
What's the moveset, Mandy?
Did you clean your room? It's about to be on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, look, it's all my bed's always made.
What's the moveset, Mandy? I transferred
show you.
mine.
Why?
It had bad IVs
Yeah, you transferred it right away.
and bad CP.
What are the moves?
It's Thunder Shock and Thunder.
Every Raichu I've evolved has had Brick Break. It doesn't look like Pokemon.
It isn't,
What?
Why not?
because there really isn't anything here.
That's true. What did you do to deserve the game ball?
I hit 2 balls, and I also caught, hi. Anyway, I got, let me pause this. I stopped 2 grounders from getting into the outfield. There's this weird guy, and he's like Bruce Lee or something.
Chance.
Okay.
I have a question though. Why are you filming vertically? Nice, dude. Well, we got home and fell asleep. Slept for like 3 hours, so I really need to start editing. So I'm just gonna end this one here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. For this Q&A, I want to focus on the new catch rate bonus that was added in the most recent update. I haven't made a video about it yet because we don't know a whole lot about how it works, but I've been getting a ton of questions, so I want to start this one off by answering as much as I can about the medals and the catch rate bonus.